I never planned on losing my job, but losing my family's health insurance was an even tougher pill to swallow. So I looked into COBRA, but too pricey. Then I found out about special enrollment through Covered California, where I was able to choose from good health insurance companies I've actually heard of. I even got help paying for it. I had no idea someone was there for me, but Covered California really had my back.
To see if you qualify or to find one of our local experts, visit coveredca.com. Covered California. It's more than just healthcare. It's life care.
From the Indie Star Network studios located in the high deserts of Southern California, this is From the Deep, a celebration of Deep Elm Records.
Join us as we take a musical journey each week through the extensive Deep Elm Records library. 20 years, over 220 releases, and still fiercely 100% independent. This is From the Deep, only on the Indie Star Network.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you may be listening. This is Alan Wayne here, and we are live on the Emerging Artist Series, live, pre-recorded, of course. And on the line, I have Carly Commando. It is my extreme privilege to talk to you, Miss Commando. How are you today?
I am amazing, and how are you?
I am doing great, thank you. Just before we get into more of the historical bits of the interview, I wanted to ask you, you said you were on tour right now. Where are you touring, and what exactly is going on?
Well, I'm in a band called Slingshot Dakota. It's me and my husband. I play piano and I sing, and he plays the drums. And we did a month-long tour. We're, I guess, currently in the last leg of the tour. But we released a record 3 years ago, and our new record is coming out in 2016. So we decided to just do one last tour on the old record before we take a little break, to make room for the new record. So we are currently in Dallas, Texas. We have off today. We're relaxing and maxing. We did 2 shows yesterday in Denton, so we are completely wiped out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just an indie rock band that I'm in. It's 2 of us. It's simple, but we make a lot of noise, so it's incredibly fun.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. So Slingshot Dakota, and I saw that might be a band I would like to hear on Twitter, and I never made the connection. That's pretty cool. So very cool. So Carly, one of the things that gets me, besides your name, which is an awesome name, I mean the most rock star name ever.
Thank you. And it's real too. It's a real name.
Oh, okay. So that's your real name?
Real name.
Your parents are named.
Commandos.
They were commandos.
We're a commando family. It's great because I think I was just destined for stardom with the name. But every time I go to a music store and I'm buying something, everyone always comments that I have an amazing stage name, and I have to tell them that it's in fact my real name, and I whip out my license every time and prove it to everybody, and it's awesome. I am incredibly lucky. I didn't have to make up anything.
That is super cool. That is really cool. And
no one messes with me with this name. It's pretty good. It's a good deal.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Carly Commando, you would think would be fronting, X or some kind of band, some kind of metal band or whatever.
I know.
But you're doing piano. How did?
I'm doing the complete opposite.
Yeah. How did that start? Like, when did you first put finger to ivory?
Well, when I was a kid, I played the piano all the time, and I think as soon as I could get up on the bench, I was playing, and I'm pretty sure I was just making up whatever I wanted. But at a certain point, I was replicating what I heard my parents listening to. So if they're listening to Broadway songs, I think at one point they were constantly listening to Les Miserables. I was copying all those songs and playing them back for them. So they realized that I had taken to piano and that I had a really good ear. So I was classically trained. I mean, I guess as soon as I was, old enough to give enough time and respect to it. So I would say maybe 7 or 8, I probably started piano lessons, and I took it for a long time. Up until I think my early teenage years, I decided that I was too cool for lessons, and I didn't really want to invest the time anymore into learning songs. I think I just had more fun making them up as I went. And I think around that time, I would say maybe 14, maybe a little bit earlier, my piano teacher had realized that because I have perfect pitch, I wasn't necessarily reading music. I was I was just memorizing the songs she would play for me,
Wow.
and I would play them back to her. So, she kind of caught me, doing that. And, sorry, hold on a second. She caught me cheating, and so, told my parents what was happening. And, my parents had to run it by me if I really wanted to take lessons or if I wanted to take a break. Took a break, and, just kept playing on my own. And that's where I am today. I just have obviously kept the piano incredibly close into my life. I just kind of gave up on the reading sheet music part.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing, because I'm a drummer, and I was trained. I play by ear as well, but I can't imagine something as intricate and as just layered as piano being something that you learn by ear. I mean, that is wild. Did you ever have any difficulties, or was it did it just come natural, all of it?
It's always come natural. I mean, I have a much more ease just hearing something and playing it as opposed to reading it. I think my brain is just, it's just wired in a way where, I love hearing stuff and replicating it and learning that way. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's much easier for me to just like really feel a piece out than by reading it. I just think when something is like on paper for me, it's weird. I love reading books and I love letting my imagination go, but when it comes to music, I like hearing someone else's version of it and then applying my own version on that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what inspired me to kind of teach myself that way. And same thing, I mean, I taught myself guitar the same way by, listening to records over and over again and just playing alongside them. And in college, in an effort to try to learn how to sight read again, I taught myself clarinet and bass clarinet because it was only, one line of music at a time. It wasn't, a treble and a bass class. So I was like, okay, I'm in college. I should really, sit down with this and learn how to do this better.
Right,
so
right.
Instead of approaching it, by way of piano, which I'd already done and, not necessarily enjoyed the sight reading aspect of that, I decided to pick a different instrument so that I wouldn't resent my favorite instrument. I was like, figured if I approached it with a different instrument, it would give me a different mindset on it. So it helped me get back into it. It helped me learn how to read, my rhythms and my notes again. But I just think my brain has more fun learning the opposite way.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've just gone with it. I just let it go.
great. That's really cool. I mean, a lot of right-brained people, I guess you could say, maybe the artistic side of the brain. A lot of those folks, they learn they learn that way. Jimi Hendrix learned how to play guitar upside down, as a matter of fact, because he was left-handed and he could only get his hands on a right-handed guitar. Just genius finds a way, and usually it's not the way that is conventional. So there you have it. Now, when did you start taking this like seriously? Like, I'm going to record myself. I'm going to go on tour.
Well, so in terms of with the instrumental music, I think before I even did that stuff, I was in band. So I started a band with my best friend when we were in high school. She was teaching herself guitar, and so we would just play music together through an organization after school where we would just, have concerts with other students and such. Mm-hmm. But again, it was more for fun. It wasn't anything serious, and I think we recorded a 5-song album and, recorded stuff, and we did a little tour, but it was something that I enjoyed. I didn't think that it was necessarily something I could do with my life. Yeah. And then after that, I joined another band with my guy friends, and I was basically playing piano in that band as a bass. So they didn't have a bass player. I was kind of doing the bass notes, and then sometimes some, melodic accompaniment to them. Nice. And so I was doing that. That was the original version of the band that I'm in now, and this band has gone through so many transformations. But yeah, I just kept playing music, and I loved it, and I would record records with these bands that I was in. And then when I was with Noah Kalinina, and he did his YouTube video back in, I guess, 2006 now. Yeah. He asked me to do the music for that, and, I just went with it. I wasn't thinking anything serious. I just, he asked me for a song, and I watched his video, and I tried to imagine what would go well with it. And I think that song that I wrote, I was actually writing for my band. I was like, well, I'm going to write, like, a really meaningful, like, solo piano song for Slingshot Dakota or something, and it just didn't work. And I remember just having that melody in my mind, and so when Noah asked me to write the song, I said, oh, that song that I've been, coming up with, that I was going to have some kind of power ballad, worked better for his video than for what I was going to do with it. So I pretty much recorded that song right before going to work. I was working in a restaurant at the time, and I recorded one version for him. It was too short. And then I looked at him. I said, all right, I'm going to do one more song, and then I have to go to work. And that song is the song that became Every Day, and I literally did no changes to it. I kept it. I, gave it to him, and I'm like, all right, got to go, got to catch the train. And I think with the success of his video, I realized that there was a whole other component to my music life that I had been ignoring, which was what I grew up with, which was instrumental piano or movie soundtracks that, my brother had always been listening to, that, like, now that I look back, I'm like, oh, that stuff influenced me growing up. Oh, yeah. Hearing him listening to Danny Elfman all the time and stuff. So I think with the success of Every Day, it just motivated me to embrace the other side of music besides being in a band and playing with other people and recording albums with a drummer and a guitar player. It inspired me to just do something by myself. Yeah. So that's where I am today. Now I just have both sides of it. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and a perfect fit for Deep Elm, by the way, in this era of Deep Elm that started out as a punk rock 7-inch label and now is a lot into the soundtracks and everything else. You're a perfect fit alongside people like Lights in Motion. You're right there. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I mean it's that easy, huh? You just before work you just pound out a song and you're up to like 40 million YouTube hits and everybody knows who you are all of a sudden. What was that like? It was very incredible and very surreal, and it's still to this day, however many years later, incredibly surreal. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to help Noah out. Honestly, I was like, I support your project. I've been with him for so long, and I saw that project go from a gallery show to a video, and so I was just stoked to help him, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm thinking about going to work, and when everything happened, I was just really excited, and it just really made me realize that I could do something with that side of, my talent besides applying it to like a rock band setting. And it was just great. I mean, I never, I don't think I got too much of an ego from it because I think I was just so I was just so appreciative that that had happened, that so many people got exposed to my music all over the world, that it was so great and so cool. And still to this day, years later, I'm still overwhelmed by how amazing it is. So I'm just incredibly thankful, and I keep at it. I think that's just what the moral is that I'm like, all right, that song reached people, touched people in a different way, whether they're relating it to the video or whatever. And I don't know. It was definitely a very intense thing, but I know with a lot of things, especially playing music all my life, that everything changes so fast, and you might have one day where everyone knows who your band is or whatever, and then the next day you continue on and you move on. And I think I don't let that one song define me, but I'm incredibly grateful to it for opening up not only people to my music, but it helped me open up myself and realize what I was capable of. So I am incredibly grateful of the whole thing, the whole process.
Yeah, and some people, fame kind of turns them into I don't know, it turns them different. But it seems like for you, fame has actually enhanced you. Now, I mentioned a few things that I'd like to run by you. First of all, when I played you the other night on my Indie Jukebox show, I said that you were Emmy nominated. Was I right or was I wrong?
Yes. I actually am an Emmy Award winner.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Award holder.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. That's also something that's totally crazy when I think about it. So Every Day Was Used in a Simpsons episode where they parodied Noah's video.
Yeah.
And that episode won an Emmy Award. So I had gotten an email months later from Ian Maxstone Graham, who's, one of the executive producers of the show, and he said, I don't know if you're aware, but, that episode won an Emmy Award. You're part of that episode, so you're included as a winner.
Yes.
And they sent me, a gift and the certificate of, the Emmy Award, sciences, and I gifted that to my parents so that they could, have proof that their daughter was doing something.
Wow, yeah, of course.
Having your kid in the arts is an absolutely terrifying thing. So
absolutely.
I kind of gave that to them to hang on their wall so that they could rest easy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was something that was, again, completely insane and amazing. And I'm thankful to The Simpsons. I'm thankful to Ricky Gervais, apparently was really instrumental in requesting my song and not having Fox do a parody of my song. So I'm really stoked that he pushed for the original version. So,
oh, man.
Yeah.
That is super cool. And so you're an Emmy Award winner. You've reached epic YouTube status. You've done so many different things. So now let's fast forward to now. Now that you're all famous and Emmy Award winning and all that, and now here comes your new album called Dream Life. Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, so this kind of touches on what you were saying before about every day and having all of a sudden that be someone, that people know my song or whatever, is that even during all that stuff, I never quit my job. I kept serving tables. I kept touring with my band.
Wow.
I didn't stop anything because I didn't want to rely on one song carrying me through because, I'm like, anything can change at any moment. And like I said, I'm incredibly grateful for that experience, but, I still didn't have yet enough confidence to create more music at that point, and then just leave it at that. So with that song, I wrote a record called One Take, which Deep Elm released around that time, and that was great, and that record has served me well. But again, I didn't have enough confidence to just invest all of my my future in music. I think I think I've just always been a hustler and a hard worker. So I mean, when you wait tables, your day ends at a certain time and you leave your job with a fistful of cash. So, there's a little bit more stability to it than kind of assuming that, your song is going to do well in the future.
Exactly. Right about that.
So I kept working. I mean, up until this point, I pretty much kept working. And last year in September, both me and my husband decided to go full time with music.
Right on.
As a joint effort with the band. And in doing that, I was like, well, now I have more time to do songwriting for the band, and I have more time to do songwriting for myself for the instrumental stuff. It had been a long time since I'd released a record, and worked with John at Deep Elm. So, I told him, no, it's been forever, but I'm getting the record done. I'm no longer working. I'm going to dedicate all of my time to this record. And so Dream Life was written in that span. We returned home last year from tour around Thanksgiving 2014. And then probably from around then to June, I was picking up shifts randomly because I'd given up my permanent job so that I could tour. Working randomly, and then I just spent all that time writing and recording Dream Life, and then also writing and recording the new Slingshot Dakota record that's coming out. So it was a really weird time for me because it was the first time in my life that I wasn't supplementing my income with a normal or a semi-normal job that I knew I had. I would have work on whatever days of the week. I had now pretty much dwindled it to picking up a shift every other week or whatever.
Wow.
So Dream Life was this kind of intense culmination of emotions that ranged from being completely stoked and confident in this new place in my life where I was doing what I loved, no matter the risk.
Yeah.
Just doing it with this insane like fervor and just like love of art, coupled with the fact that I was incredibly terrified of not having that fallback job and just kind of handling those emotions while being completely snowed in for, the winter in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where it just snowed all the time. And, me and my husband couldn't practice. We have a van, so we couldn't drive it anywhere.
Yeah.
So it was just like the pinnacle of this whole year for us was, quitting our jobs to do what we wanted to do. And then we got hit with this insanely cold and snowy winter. So, it was just kind of like oh man.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to go at this with everything. And now we have all the time to do this. And then it's cold and it's snowy. And we're absolutely terrified. So Dream Life, I think I wrote in a summary of the album is that, you think when you're doing what you love that it's like it's a dream, like you're living a dream and it's this positive thing. But I think the flip side of that is that there was also something like a little terrifying about it that was almost like, I wouldn't say a nightmare because there's nothing nightmare about this, but if you have like a weird, like if I take a nap during the day,
yeah,
my dreams are always they're very weird. And they're full of anxiety because it's the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like as opposed to going to bed at night when you're just completely tuckered out and your mind is shutting down. I think in the middle of the day your body knows that it's the middle of the day, so it's giving you weird dreams to like keep you from actually enjoying your nap.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like that aspect of dream life is also prevalent. That there's great dreams and there's like the ideal life that you want, and then there's also these fantasies and dreams that aren't exactly the way you want them to go. So I think, this record is just like a mishmash of all those feelings of this year of quitting my job and just going at it 100%. That it's amazing and it's fulfilling and it's simultaneously scary.
Wow,
that's what this record is really about.
that is really cool. I mean, yeah, during the day I can't sleep much myself, and you're right about the dreams, and that's so awesome that you thought so deeply about that album and what you put into it. And my mind is still blown that you were you were an Emmy Award winner serving tables. I can't even imagine that.
I think that's also at that time when all that stuff was happening, it's what kept me grounded, because I could have easily just been like, well, see you later, everybody, which wouldn't have served me at all, And I really do love serving tables. I mean, I worked in New York City. I work in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I honestly do. I love interacting with people. I think that's why I tour so much.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I ever completely dreaded. But it's also not, necessarily what I would love to do. I think writing music is truly what I love to do. But I never hated working. So, like I said, when you're an artist and you're creating music or you're creating a painting or whatever you do with your life, your job is honestly never done.
Yeah.
Because if you're a perfectionist like me, you can keep going. You can add more tracks on a record, or you can scrap a song and then completely start fresh and think that you're going to do a better job or whatever. So when I do work a waitressing job, at least there's that part of me that's satisfied that says, okay, your workday is completely done. You can go take a nap, or you can go play a show if you want. So
there you go.
I think it helps to balance me, so I'm into it.
Very cool. So where can folks find Dream Life?
Folks can find Dream Life online through Deep Elm Records. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. I'll be releasing physical copies of it when I return home from tour. I'm going to be pressing them, so they'll be out for the holidays. I'll have them on carlycommando.com.
Okay.
There'll be a little web store there that they can pick a physical copy up.
Very cool.
But yeah, it's available online, and I encourage everybody to relax and enjoy it.
Yes, so do I. Carly, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you.
And
of course. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Dream Life out now on Deep Elm. Go to carlycommando.com for a physical copy and iTunes and Spotify. Thank you, Carly.
Thank you.
Star Network Studios located in the high deserts of Southern California. This is From the Deep, a celebration of Deep Elm Records.
Join us as we take a musical journey each week through the extensive Deep Elm Records library. 20 years, over 220 releases, and still fiercely 100% independent. This is From the Deep, only on the Indie Star Network.
Riding a motorcycle isn't just about what you ride, how you look, or your destination. It's about freedom and adventure. Once you start, it becomes a part of who you are. It gets in your blood. But a word of caution. If you dilute your blood with alcohol and get on your bike, well, you've lost it. Because that's not riding. That's just being stupid. Alcohol slows your reflexes and coordination. And police notice these things. So remember why you ride. Because if you don't ride sober, you will get pulled over.